Those who do evil to others, the killers, the rapists, psychos, sadists. You'll come to know me well. Frank Castle is dead. Call me the Punisher.
In a world overrun with podcasts, comes yet another underground, independent, amateur, completely irrelevant, perhaps kind of shitty, action movie podcast. Hosted by a couple of zeros. Potty Humor brings to you two men, two beards, one podcast that puts the FU in Kung Fu.
All right.
Yeah.
The hard and hard sci-fi.
Right on.
Clever.
Boom and shoot 'em up.
What?
That's bad
The
news.
two in gratuitous violence.
Well, that's kind of reaching.
Okay.
They are the last action zeros.
Punisher. Oh yeah, we nailed it. I think that was not too awful. That 3-part harmony.
For completely backyard barbershop quartet, I don't think it was bad at all.
It was the shits. Punisher, 2004 Punisher, Thomas Jane. Ian, go.
Wow. Okay. Well, I gotta say, I remember seeing this movie in theaters when it came out roughly a decade ago. And I liked it a whole lot. I remember liking it a whole lot. I think I even saw it twice in the theaters.
Dedication.
Watching
You
it,
saw it for free twice in the theaters. That was in the era where everybody we knew worked in
It may have
theaters
been.
still,
It may have been free. It may not have been because I know I saw it with my girlfriend at the time. And I never dated her while I was working there.
Oh,
but I was thinking about this all earlier. All those old memories were coming back.
Repressed memories were surfacing over this film. You watched this film and you just went back to that place in time.
I will say
2004.
that rewatching it today, it kind of didn't hold up in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that we watched the last one so recently, and I really liked that one more.
I was gonna say you did. You rated the last. You rated fucking Dolph Lundgren Punisher like an 8.5. You fucking said 8.5, which is I feel like really fucking high.
It was.
I liked it. I loved it more than I thought I would, and I rated it like a 6.5 to a 7.
Yeah,
and you were like 8.5 in it.
But I also gave the disclaimers because I went into that expecting it to be a turd. And
Well, okay.
It came out being
Well,
a turd made of solid gold.
Yeah, well, that's what I went into it too. But you don't appraise that turd gold at fucking 8.5.
Well, I like.
Take that shit to Rick Davis.
Okay, here's the thing though. After watching the one that we're doing today, the 2004 Punisher, I felt so weird about it. I had to go back and watch clips of the old one on YouTube just to make sure that my feelings were correct. And I gotta say it didn't quite hold up to as well as I remembered. There were pacing issues.
All right. That's good. That's a good intro. For me, I always liked it as well, like you did. I think I might have even gone to see it twice in theaters. I'm not sure on that. It might have just been once. I definitely bought it on DVD as soon as it came out and watched it numerous times on DVD. But it had been probably like 5 or 6 years since I'd watched it. So I was thinking maybe I might find it to be not as good as I remembered when I watched it. Because my tastes have changed a little bit. Some stuff bothers me more than it used to. Like when people just like fucking suck at like acting, it kind of pisses me off. Didn't used to. I used to not really care people sucking at acting. Now it kind of bothers me. And this movie had some like hokey acting for sure, but it wasn't like ever to the point that I thought it was like really horrible. And I really liked the movie. I really liked it. I was like super impressed with it actually. I thought that there were some parts of it that were like where the violence in it is like really kind of like fucking more crazy violent like than either of the other two Punishers. The one we've already done on the show, the one we're going to do on the next Last Action Zeros, because all I have watched within the last couple months. And, like, the fucking, like, violence in the scene where they kill the Punisher's family, like, even though they, like, puss out and, like, they don't show, like there's, like, not any bodies. There's, like, they'll fucking mow down, like half of his family, and, like, the scene where there would be a bunch of dead bodies, there's, like, one dead body. I kept noticing that in the movie, to the point that there's a guy that gets on a motorcycle, starts to ride away, gets shot up by an Uzi, and, like, later on, like,
Thomas Jane.
30 seconds later, Thomas Jane, Frank Castle, runs up to the fucking motorcycle, and, like, the body's gone.
Yeah, I noticed that, too.
They, like, didn't want to show dead bodies. Like, they were real not wanting to show dead bodies. And I don't know if that's, like, something having to do with, like, you know, the rating of the movie or something. It probably was. But, like, just the violence about it. It was, like, went back to that, like, Mad Max, like, kind of violence. And obviously that fucking one scene was, like, straight out of Mad Max, where the truck runs down the wife and the son, you know, on the pier. Like, that was, like, straight out of Mad Max. But it's like, it gave you that feeling, I felt like, where you were, like, kind of disturbed by the violence. More so than I am by the extreme, over-the-top, gory violence that's in Warzone. Because we're going to do that one, and the fucking gory violence, and it's so awesome. Like, this was, like, completely different. This was, like, oh, shit, you know, like, that's pretty sickening. Like, you think about being, like, at a family reunion, you know, with, like, your family, and, like, some guys showing up and just mowing down your family.
That's very real.
Fucking, like, really is real. Yeah, it's, like, the way, you know, way realistic. So I really liked it. We won't get too much into that scene, because we'll get into it again here in a second. And then Dan.
Hey.
Dan's back with us.
I am.
Again, you're going to be with us all throughout the Punisher 3-parter.
Because I'm a big Punisher fanboy.
You're a fucking Punisher mark.
That's right. And I love it. I think it's like, it's the one Punisher movie where they kind of give him some heart. Because in the other two, he's kind of like a force of nature. And in this one, like, you try to see the emotional side of him more. And I think they accomplished that with his relationships with the other characters. And so, yes, I love it. And admittedly, I did not watch it this time for the viewing. I have watched it within the last year on Netflix. So it's fresh in my mind. It's one of my favorite of the first generation of Marvel movies. So I've seen it like 20 fucking times. So I can talk it all fucking day long.
Yeah.
I think what you mentioned about his heart, I think that might have been what was kind of off-putting, or part of what was off-putting, because I kind of want, you know, my Punisher to be an unstoppable kill machine, but I guess this was, you know, this whole movie was basically his origin story.
Yeah, so it was an awesome setup to a movie like that.
So he's not quite so hardened yet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's felt the loss. You get that, but I don't know. To me, it just it didn't feel like, you know, like I wanted more over the top, I guess. And I mean, I kind of knew going into, because like I said, I'd seen it before. I knew going into it I wasn't going to get that, but I just expected a little more of the action end of things.
Right, I understand. So let's get down just to it. Let's get down to the movie, like where it starts, how it kind of sets up. You know, it sets up his origin. I thought they set it up pretty well. You probably could have used a little more, maybe a little bit more time with his family just to get that like emotional connection to the characters when they died. You know, but I felt like they did it in such a crazy, violent way, like I already said, where it was like that was enough. Really, you felt really fucking bad for the Punisher. You felt really bad for Frank Castle and his family.
It was like, it was a spin on the origin because, you know, the classic comic origin, his family is gunned down, his wife and children in Central Park. So it's almost like a bad 90s joke from Def Comedy Jam where it's like, man, in this movie, when they killed the Punisher's family, they really killed the Punisher's family.
They killed all 80.
I'm talking about his grandma, his grandpa, his uncle, his nieces, his nephews.
So,
they kill them all.
Okay. It starts, Frank Castle, he's on like an undercover FBI ops.
Let's talk about those.
They kind of set it up like it's like his like last one before he's like really getting out.
Right.
You know, like his last one before I'm getting out. And apparently it was to like bust this what seemed like not small time but like middling time like guns deal was like his big going out FBI bust on these like two like young. You know, like wannabe kind of like mob guys.
They just had a lot of money.
They just had a lot of money because it was a rich kid, didn't have a lot of experience, and like this was his last bust. Like this was his deep undercover op. He had spent fucking finagling Mickey, the loser friend of Howard Saint's oldest son. Howard Saint being the most prominent businessman in Tampa, Florida, and also the, like, I guess, crime kingpin of sunny Tampa, because even sunny Tampa can get dark and needs a Punisher every now and then.
I love how coming into this scene, I already said, Thomas Jane or Frank Castle is in character, obviously undercover, and he's got this ridiculous blonde wig.
Oh, the wig.
Which is funny because Thomas Jane is naturally blonde, but he had apparently already dyed his hair black for the role, so they made him wear a blonde wig and like these sandals and talk in this hilarious accent.
He's real Hans.
Yeah.
You know, he's just super Hans.
Wasn't his name Otto?
Otto. His name was Otto.
My name is Otto.
Von something.
I'm selling, yes, I'm buying these guns. My name is Otto.
Yeah. I worked it through, Mickey was his contact. Mickey, little loser Mickey. We'll get to more of Mickey. He ends up being a pretty pivotal player. His name was Mickey, right?
Yeah, Mickey.
There's interesting
Mickey.
stuff about Mickey.
Oh, he walks up. Mickey walks up, you know, thinking that Frank Castle, you know, is the big arms dealer that, you know, he's pretending to be. And he has, you know, his friend with him, the one with the money. And he immediately is like, this is my friend Bobby. He's not a cop. Like, which is like, I feel like a classic thing. Maybe I only feel like it's like a dumb thing for them to say because of that Office episode where like Michael Scott's like, I'm not a cop. And the guy is like, why would you say that? I don't know if that's brainwashed me into thinking that would be a dumb thing to say in a big like high stakes drug or arms deal.
I'm sure the conversation comes up in that.
Maybe they want it up front that way. Like, but you tell me immediately if that guy's a cop or not.
Did it not seem weird to anybody that the bust was the people buying the guns and not the people selling them? It seems like you would want to get the gun dealers more than you'd want to get some kids that are just buying them. Or maybe they were just using the kids and they were actually trying to get the dealers. And I mean,
yeah, who knows? It seemed like they were just busting these kids that were trying to get some guns, which is bad. You don't want some kids getting some guns. It just seemed like an interesting, real deep undercover ops he was on. Was this? And it's like afterwards, it's like, so you're finally done, you know? It's like, I'm hanging it up after this one. I fucking nailed Mickey's balls to the wall. And Bobby Saint, you know, son of Howard Saint,
right?
Prominent Tampa kingpin. Things go awry on the deep ops. Fucking Bobby Saint pulls a gun, gets shot by FBI SWAT. So, you know, that's not how it was supposed to go. And that was really sad. Mickey was all like, Bobby. Bobby, no, Bobby. Poor Mickey. He just got it. Poor Mickey. It was sad. But he should have pulled the gun, you know? Should have played it cool. Should have PIC'd. So he, like, pretty much leaves, like, immediately to go be with his family. Frank Castle does. Like, just straight off this ops. Like,
oh, yeah.
I'm done. I'm out of here.
Clocking out.
I'm moving to London, I think is where they say.
Yeah, they're going to have a big retirement party.
Yeah. He's not actually retiring, though, because it says he's getting moved to a desk job.
Yeah, he's getting... Oh, okay, yeah. He's retiring from, like, field work.
Right. He's not going to be in the line of fire anymore. But
it was his last one.
But he is being reassigned to London. So it's like, he still is part of the bureau, I guess. But
so, like, Howard Saint's mad. The big kingpin, the Tampa kingpin, is mad.
Played by
the incomparable John Travolta. Playing John Travolta, which really works as this guy.
Oh, it's really awesome.
Fucking John Travolta worked so well as this guy. And it was so, like, he was the, like, hokey over the top part that was awesome. You know, it was like, I'm glad that John Travolta's fucking really hamming this up.
Is the first scene you see him in the one where he's confronting Mickey, or does that come a little later? But
yeah, it's like...
I feel like it's right around what we're talking about.
He, like, you know, you think he's going to shoot Mickey, because Mickey was, like, the guy that hooked him up with the undercover guy.
The one person responsible for my son's death has to die. And he points the gun at Mickey, and then out of nowhere, he turns it and shoots one of his guards.
One of his guards, who's, like, you know, was, like, Bobby's bodyguard,
right.
I guess. And so, you know, he wants to find out everything about Otto von Frank. I can't remember his name. Otto von Frank.
Greed or
von Frank.
Or Green, maybe. I don't remember. It was something weird. Creed. Otto Creed.
Oh, Creed. I wonder if that was like a kind of a little nudge.
Possibly a nudge.
Creed, comic book reference. We won't say it out loud. That way, anybody listening, they can be kind of like in the know on what Creed means in the comic book world.
Wink.
Wink, wink. That was lame. He basically sends out the hit on whoever this Otto von Frank guy is. Otto von Creed.
He has a really resourceful assistant who's able to get all this classified. He'd even stamp classified on the file that he hands to him. And it totally tells, oh, his name's Frank Castle.
I mean, it's the head of the Tampa mob, Ian. They're just as resourceful as any mob.
But he's not that bloodthirsty, though. He's cool with just Frank Castle. It's the wife.
It's the wife.
Mm-hmm.
The wife that
always is.
Isn't the family. Kill his family.
The grieving wife. Take the entire family. So they do. They kill. I'm pretty sure it's like both too. I think it's like the wife's family's there too, or something.
Yeah, no. The grandfather's or the Frank Castle's dad, who's what's the actor's name? Roy Scheider from Jaws. Yeah. Is giving this speech and he says two families come together. So I'm pretty sure it's both.
There were some people, yeah.
Both the wife and.
It was not a weird speech. He's like two families, and what you get is this. He like holds up his like grandson like a fish that he caught like by the arm. This is my grandson. He's the product of our two families burning.
And they have the touching scene with the guns, which clearly was foreshadowing. You knew that the Punisher was going to end up with those guns when the second you saw him in that case.
Yep.
Like, something's going to happen. He's going to get those guns, and he's going to use them.
And he does.
Yeah, he has like the two sweet pistols. His dad like was really into guns.
Oh yeah,
you could tell. And they did a good job. I thought from remembering the movie that like, I think I might have said something on the first episode of Punisher we did. That like all the movies kind of put him over as like just kind of a law enforcement guy, or maybe that was just a personal conversation I had with you, Dan.
I think we brought it up.
But they totally like put over that he was like in the wars and shit, like in the Iraqi war.
He has military training.
Had military, yeah. He was like a special ops guy that was just like in the FBI. So
yes, so instead of just
he was a fucking all around badass. He was your quintessential, kill every guy badass dude.
That was the update to the origin there, that he was in the Iraq War instead of the Vietnam War, which they also did in the Iron Man movies. If you recall, in the original Iron Man story, it's Vietnam where he gets captured and creates his, or actually it might be China. It's an Asian country. That's not too racist of me, but anyway, yeah. But so that's where they changed it. They updated the Iraqi War in this version of the Punisher.
Yeah. So they're at the family reunion in Puerto Rico. I guess like his parents live in Puerto Rico, which that seems cool. And everybody, all the family had flown in to Puerto Rico. What a dream weekend to get
right there on their. It seemed like it was their own little private island too.
Yeah, almost, man. They had their own stretch of beach for sure. It was very pristine looking, magical.
Enough to where what happens next can alert no one else. Like, there's no consequences for what happens here.
No witnesses, except for maybe one local.
Right. So what happens here? I kind of went into it earlier. I thought was a pretty disturbing, awesome, like, bunch of mafia dudes slaughtering 80 people sequence. Other than the lack of bodies laying everywhere. Yeah, it was. Well, it's and
there was no blood. There wasn't a lot of blood.
The lack of blood.
There wasn't a lot of blood, and there wasn't a lot of bodies.
It felt like it was like R-rated, but also kind of made for TV. And actually, I think I looked at some of the trivia for this movie, and I think part of the reason why there's not so much blood. I know there were a few specific gory scenes like later on that they filmed and then were cut because the censors said no, that looks too real. Or
yeah, I looked up something like that. It looked like they really got the shit worked on them.
But initially, when the script was written, because the director also wrote the movie, when the script was written, he wanted $64 million to film this movie. He got $11 million. So that probably factored into a lot of the effects, the effects budget. Where there probably would have been more like CGI and more blood, whereas this was just
the John Carpenter route.
Yeah. bang bang, fall down, pretend you got shot. A lot of times, I think. Not even really probably using explosive packs on everybody, you know.
Also, right before all the gunning down is where the skull shirt is introduced.
Oh, that's right.
The son had bought it, I guess, at the Puerto Rican market. And his comment on the shirt was, it's pretty intense. That's what he said. It's like 8-year-old kid. It's pretty intense. It's not like a dude at like a fucking Fish concert. So, you know, just to get, you know, I thought that was, you know, neat. They showed, like, they gave him some emotional attachment to the skull shirt.
A reason for the skull.
Yeah.
I'd say this is the best looking skull in the Punisher.
It was a skull that they used it in Warzone, I'm pretty sure. They were like, well, might as well stick with that skull they had if we're going to use a skull.
It's like on a bulletproof vest or something in Warzone, though. It's different. Like,
yeah, but like just the design of this, like the white skull was like the exact, you know.
It has like these jagged like cheekbones almost that kind of hook under.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It looked pretty sweet.
I'm sure a lot of really cool dudes got that tattooed on them.
So the family getting gunned down, like the first one you see gunned down is like Punisher's mom.
Yeah, that was really that was disturbing.
That was disturbing. He's like an old woman, like just like standing up, all pained looking, and like falling over dead.
Like, how would you feel if you hear gunshots and you look out to your family and the first person you see falling is your fucking mom?
Yeah, and like even like Thomas Jane's like, Mom. It's like, oh no.
Like I thought both he and his dad, Roy Scheider, were pretty quick to action, whereas I probably would freak out a little bit more. You know, they were pretty like,
you're not a hardened vet.
Right, I'm not.
You know? I think like his dad was like supposed to be also like a Vietnam vet.
Sure.
I got that impression, definitely.
He was all about guns and shit. So yeah, they immediately grab a couple shotguns and defend their family.
They take out a couple guys.
They took out a couple guys.
There was one really cool kill where they were in the house and they were shooting out, and then the one guy jumps over the grill and they have to kind of shoot back and forth. And he tries to shoot him once and misses. The door flies open and you see that propane tank there. And again, that's foreshadowing.
Yeah, you know
what's going to happen there.
We also knew because we'd seen it before.
But I'm just saying, like, it's been 10 years for me, so it was a little fuzzy. But I saw that and I was
10 long years.
He's definitely going to shoot that propane tank and kill the shit out of that guy. And it happened, and that was a really cool kill. Because the guy flew back and he was all on fire. It looked awesome.
And so it's like, that's when they kind of like run out and you notice that there's no real like bodies of his family. There's like one. It's like a body.
I think you see somebody like laying backwards over a table.
Like a body. And then you saw people just getting mowed down and like the guys just walking in with Uzis.
And then like we mentioned earlier, there's the guy tries to ride off on the motorcycle and he gets gunned down and falls off. And then at this point, I think this is when the mom and the kid are running away.
Well, it's like the mom and the kid had like run off. The kid like wanted to show the mom something. This is the Punisher's family. And like they smartly, I felt like, hid underneath like this boat while like everybody was getting gunned down. And then they like were like, oh, let's run.
Well, before that, you see a guy find some other people hiding under a boat and definitely...
Oh, it was underneath the house.
Oh, it was under the house.
People were like hiding underneath the house. Like underneath the deck, you know, it's like the house was like on little stilts, like a beach house.
Oh, I thought it was like going to be a different boat, but
right.
But it was like regardless.
That part was pretty fucked up too. Yeah. It's like this family scared underneath the house, and the guy just like leans in, looks at him like a fucking like exterminator checking the crossface. Yeah.
Yeah. These guys are pretty like hardened killers to be able to just mow down children and stuff like that.
That's the kind of people that the fucking Tampa mob runs with.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Tampa mob is tired of being disrespected by you specifically, Ian.
Well, I'm sorry. They can deal with it. Good luck finding me, Tampa mob.
So like,
they're finding
the mom and the kid run off, and like, there's a big car chase because they like run to a car that they can get to like go, and like Punisher has to run up and like he's like a little late to the scene. He like gets the motorcycle and is chasing like way behind. The killer's chasing after his like wife and kid or whatever. And that's where you don't see the dead guy that had been riding the motorcycle. Right. He was missing.
He flew off like probably like 3 feet away from the motorcycle.
Yeah, he dropped like right beside the motorcycle.
And then there's a nice pan out shot of Thomas Jane getting on the motorcycle.
And
no one around.
No
one.
They're like, we don't want bodies. You have to take out the bodies. So that's when they go to the like whole Mad Max thing. Their car like fucks up. They have to run. Dudes just mow them down. Punisher, just a little too late. shoots a couple of the guys, gets shot in the chest, point blank in the chest, and then like blown up. Right? They blow him up,
well, I think
too.
He sits up right as the tanks are about to blow, and I think that's what caused the force to propel him backwards. And probably saved his life. Where if he was laying down,
he would have just been
would have come down on top of him.
There you go. That was his quick thinking. And he, like, swims up to shore. I mean, bullet hole right in the middle of his fucking chest.
It seems to sit there for a while.
Just a badass.
Like, it's daylight when he gets to shore.
He didn't bleed out or nothing.
I know. Maybe the heat cauterized the wound a little bit. Not a lot.
The explosion?
Not a lot, because
it doesn't take a lot.
The water is all red around him when he gets to the shore.
Yeah, he's bleeding like a motherfucker. And that's when the one guy that witnessed it all, the lone islander.
They showed him earlier.
They'd shown him earlier, yeah.
And he grabs him and takes care of him. And next it cuts forward, and it's obviously some time's passed because he's grown a beard. And he's obviously helped him out and helped him recover. And I think it even shows his wound healed up.
Right. I mean, he's just all better, pretty much. I don't know. I mean, I think recovering from a gun wound to, like, the middle of your chest takes a long time. But they made it seem like it might have just been a couple months.
Right.
Just what it seemed like.
I love how...
It wasn't a year beard.
He gets off the boat, and he's using the stick as a crutch. And he turns around. You can tell... You kind of just... They don't really talk about it, but you can tell what's happened, how the guys helped him and nursed him. And he turns around and he goes, "Thank you." And then throws him the stick. Like, "Here, have a stick."
Yeah, have this crutch to remember me by.
Thanks for all the help. Here's a stick.
I wish the guy would have just immediately thrown it on the ground.
oh, cool, bro.
Your fucking stick.
And that's when he goes in and he gets his guns, which, you knew was going to happen, because those were really cool-looking guns.
The guns that his dad, he had prepared the nice display with these newly modified guns.
Right.
So yeah, he's armed immediately.
He had a fucking stash.
It's like he comes back and just immediately is like, immediately armed to the gills. I mean, his dad left him some guns. He didn't leave him all the fucking shit that he had. Like, he had a lot of shit.
He had grenades.
He had landmines aplenty. He immediately has his hideout that's like rigged with all this cool ass shit.
Well, doesn't it show him go into, like, as soon as he gets to town, doesn't he go into a storage building? I think that might be where a lot of that stuff had been kept, which is really weird to have, like, I'm going to rent this storage space.
Oh, yeah, he did have a bunch of
and keep
stuff.
all these grenades and mines. Where if it gets too hot one day, everybody's, like, couches and TVs that they're keeping in there are just fucking gone.
Maybe he was afraid, didn't want another 9/11.
I mean...
He was going to be ready to fight back.
He clearly loved his family, so he didn't want to keep him in the house.
Bullets.
He loved his family. He didn't want to keep him in the house with them. So, but no, I mean, he gets there and this is part of my problem though. I expected, all right, now the shit's gone down. Now it's time to get to some punishing, but it takes a little while. Like he's got to set himself up in his apartment. It felt like it was really slow paced to me. I don't know.
Well, out from like the beginning, the first guy he nabs is Mickey.
Right.
Because that, had been his contact when he was the FBI deep undercover operative. Mickey was the guy, I guess, that he had set up, really. Also, I like how Mickey seemed like he really was in no trouble at all. He had recovered well from that FBI sting.
Yeah, he got right out of jail.
Got right out.
They even let him keep, like, he got a more obviously, like, degrading job that he was clearly embarrassed
It's like a
about.
bellhop.
But, like, they still let him work for them. You'd think that he'd be like, no, fuck you. But I guess with all the secrets that he knows about the family business, they want to keep him under their thumb, I suppose.
Right.
So that does kind of make sense.
It does seem like somebody they just would have killed. But, because in the end, I mean, he's the one, he's their ultimate downfall.
Huge liability.
He's their ultimate downfall. Punisher takes him. Punisher, nabs him, takes him back to his heavily fortified hideout, and mock tortures him.
Right.
Which that was neat. And I think that was taken from a comic.
It was pretty funny.
It was.
Watching it, I was like, man, this is really lighthearted. I feel like the Punisher would actually be blowtorching it.
Yeah.
But, like, come to find out, I read some trivia after the movie, and it actually was taken from a comic book. So that gives it...
Punisher Warzone #1 by Chuck Dixon.
Yeah.
Gives it... And actually that...
And let's explain the gag. What he does is he explains to him, he has like a super hot blowtorch that's like hot enough to like melt steel, and explains that like if he holds it up to his skin, he's not going to feel it because the fucking like nerves are going to be too
sealed
fucking
like instantly.
too seared. Science. And and then he'd smell flesh burning, so he like uses the fucking torch to like burn some like of just steak or something, and holds a fucking popsicle up to his back. So he thinks the popsicle is the fucking like searing hot torch burning him. I guess that could like work. That could fool somebody, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
In the duress of the situation.
But I did think it was funny how reading it there. Like I remember when I was watching the next movie, which we're going to do next, which is Punisher Warzone, thinking, didn't they do a comic called Punisher Warzone? And it turns out they did. I knew they did Punisher War Journal, but there actually was a comic called Punisher Warzone as well. I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, which you just mentioned, right?
Yes,
Chuck
neat
Dixon.
stuff. That's where the popsicle scene originated.
Well, there you go. Some deep fandom.
Just some trivia for the fans, for the folks listening at home.
Okay, and then also Punisher kind of just re-announces his arrival pretty blatantly as well.
Yeah, he does.
He like immediately goes and like blows up a bunch of like Howard Saint's money, right? His money laundering scheme. He like launders money for like Colombian drug cartel guys. Like immediately goes to the FBI guys and it's like, hey, I'm alive.
During a press conference, like all
there's a
this
bunch of
media's
media
out
there,
and they walk up and everybody's meeting like, oh, that's Frank Castle. Like there's no like ambiguity about it whatsoever. Whereas I thought like in the last movie, the people didn't know. They were like, oh, is Frank Castle dead? We think he's dead. And this was like, no, he's definitely still alive. It's definitely the Punisher. I mean, I guess he wasn't the Punisher yet, but he was definitely alive.
I feel like if he walked up to like some FBI dudes, they'd be like, "Oh man, no, you can't go." Like there'd have to be something there where
Right.
it's like, "You got to come with us, man." Like your whole family was murdered, you were presumed dead.
Well,
like you got to come with us.
He shows
and
up.
he like could have gotten away from him somehow, maybe.
He shows up to give him shit for why hasn't anybody been arrested yet?
Right.
And they should have been like, "Well, come answer some questions. We can get on the ball with this."
Yeah.
But no, they're just like,
we don't know shit about what happened. You probably do.
maybe you could give us like some sketches. We could figure out some of these guys look so we know who we're looking for. You are an eyewitness after all.
Yeah.
Did you see any of these guys' faces? Oh, you did because you fought some of them hand to hand. Like,
you know a kid, Mickey. Okay.
we could bring him in. I bet Mickey could give us some names.
Quite possibly. Yeah.
I like how this. I didn't really like how it was funny. All the new metal.
Yeah. This kind of cuts ahead a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it. There's that one song that goes on broken, and like
The Evanescence. And this is coming off the heels of like Daredevil, which was just chock full of Evanescence.
right.
I feel like there was like some Marvel exec that's like, "Where's the fucking Evanescence?
Yeah.
You put more fucking Evanescence in this movie, or you'll be your fucking job."
But like one thing I noticed was that song pops up twice, and both times it's Rebecca Romaine's character who's listening to it. So I'm like, she must really like this song. But then because of the song, every time after that, when I'd see like Frank Castle like in his room drinking, being all tortured, I just think, "'Cause he's broken." It was like that's clearly what they're trying to get across here.
Thank God that they didn't play that song during those.
I expected to hear it a third time during the credits, and honestly, I didn't sit through the whole time, so I don't know that that's what happened. But yeah, I'm glad they stopped doing that. I'm glad they got rid of all the creedle back, that kind of music.
In the comic book movies or something?
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan.
I feel like it was
of
really only like those couple, like what, Daredevil and this one.
Right. And another interesting.
It wasn't so much in this one. In Daredevil, the Evanescence was over the top. There was a lot of Evanescence.
Yeah.
Some hardcore training scenes to some Evanescence.
This was like Seether Vescence, though. It was like
it was Guy from Seether. Is that who does that with the chick from Evanescence? I knew it was the chick from Evanescence.
Yeah.
I just call it Evanescence.
Might as well. It's all the same. It's probably the same dude wrote all those songs anyway, like in some office somewhere.
So, like, Punisher, like, hey, I'm back. He even takes his gravestone, scratches out the death year, and throws it onto the green, the putting green of the golf course that Howard Saint plays at. So, He's pronouncing to everyone that he is back.
He's back, and I know your fucking habits, bro. I know what you like to do and where you like to be.
All these details he got from Mickey, who they knew Mickey was a contact of his through the whole the FBI sting thing, right? Because they know what happened, and they really never really suspect Mickey.
Yeah, he seems to be pretty much in the clear after he gets away. Like, there's never any kind of his only purpose is to be.
Because he admits that he hates all of them, saints.
Well, they're humiliating him at this point, so he definitely, he got into the mafia thinking he was going to rise up, and now he's just a door guy, a valet.
I liked in that also that scene with the Evanescence. It was the boyfriends all of Rebecca Romaine. Should we explain the neighbors, I guess?
Yes, because they are actually a big comic book reference, of course. They are famous characters from the Garth Ennis Welcome Back Frank story, which is considered one of the best Punisher stories of all time. You have the three characters, Spacker Dave, Mr. Bumpo, and Joan the Mouse, which are the low-income neighbors of the Punisher.
Yeah, did you say it, Welcome Back Frank, right? Yeah. That was awesome. That's what got me into reading Punisher, was that Welcome Back Frank run by Garth Ennis, actually.
It was weird to me. Spacker Dave seemed like the kind of guy who would be the one listening to all that, see their essence. I
think he was.
Well, it showed him he was listening to some harder new metal.
No, it was okay, maybe that. He was listening to the song that was the song of the movie, which was who is it? It sucks. It's you better step up, you get knocked down. Step up. I don't know, I might be misquoting what song it is. It's some shitty new metal song. Last Action Zeros does not promote new metal.
No. I'm not a fan.
I guess that's not a thing anymore, though, right? People don't really...
It really is.
I think in 2004, it was on the tail end of it. Now all we got left is Five Finger Death Punch, and
I don't feel we won't get into a music discussion. I don't feel Five Finger Death Punch is new metal. They're not fucking Seether level fucking new metal. Right. They're not a fucking.
They're not broken.
They're not broken.
One more note about
that.
The Welcome Back Frank connection on this. Another very important note, actually. The cover artist of Welcome Back Frank, the incomparable Tim Bradstreet, it was actually his art that convinced Thomas Jane to play the Punisher in this movie. He turned him down 2 other times. Mm-hmm. Somebody showed him some of the Bradstreet art from Welcome Back Frank, and it sold him on it. He thought he could get into the 70s revenge movie vibe that was kind of throwing down.
Too right. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so the neighbors, he lives with them. Oh, the first time he really stands up for them, it's the Joan girl played by Rebecca Romaine. At the time, was she Rebecca Romaine Stamos? I think she might have been at the time.
I think she was just Rebecca Romaine.
Still Rebecca Romaine. Or
according to the research that I did, but that may be wrong.
Huh. Why'd they ever break up, man, right? Let's just start talking about that for a while. How could she leave Uncle Jesse? Anyway, the boyfriend's trying to get into her apartment. They've probably been fighting. She's listening to some fucking deep, new metal ballads. And, I think Spacker Dave tries to stick up for her or something. Yeah. And he starts beating up Spacker Dave.
Comes out just smacking him on the face. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
And so the Punisher, he steps up. Because you better step up. Or else you get knocked
you
down.
might get knocked down.
You might get knocked down. The Punisher ain't gonna get knocked down. So he steps the fuck up. Punks the guy out. I like that the guy had a butterfly knife. The boyfriend had a butterfly knife. I got a butterfly knife.
And then he gets it from him and shows him up and can do it better than he can.
Of course. It was an excuse just to do that. They're we got to have Punisher awesomely doing a butterfly knife. This guy's going to be the one that has it.
Well, they succeeded.
So he stands up for him, and they're we like this guy. I think earlier in the movie, it was funny, Punisher kind of got lucky with his neighbors, which he probably figured in this really low-income housing he would be lucky, but, he was, fake torturing Mickey, who's like screaming like he's being tortured.
Right.
Really loud, like all the neighbors are like standing outside. They're kind of like, they're of course the comic relief. They're like standing outside like, what the fuck, he's torturing a guy in there. And they don't, call the cops on him. So, pretty fortunate there. But like I said, he's in some fucking like low-income housing. You probably figure that the kind of people that live there aren't going to fucking give a shit about that.
They probably have their own things that they don't want the cops called about.
But considering who the people ended up being, I feel like he was lucky.
Yeah.
Because, like, they all end up being pretty respectable people.
Right. They have hearts of gold.
Yeah.
But they know you don't call the cops in the ghettos. You just don't do it.
Right. That's true. That's true. You don't want to make the guy mad, I guess.
For the ghetto, that was a pretty isolated building. It was like kind of like, looked like it was underneath like an on-ramp or something. And,
Right.
the research that I did, I said that building was actually like a Tampa landmark that everybody kind of knew about, but it now no longer stands.
So, okay.
Just a little tidbit.
This, I think... When does Mexican Johnny Cash come in? Not quite yet. I think the Punisher starts his cerebral assassin gimmick. He starts setting the Saints up for like a deep game here.
This felt
He's really fucking like espionaging it out on these people.
This whole like little plot line of the trickery and stuff. It felt really kind of like, I don't know, a little bit. It felt like more than what I feel like I would expect from the Punisher, but still kind of like, just backhanded in a way. Kind of like, I don't know how to word it so much. Just really.
You think it was heavy-handed?
Heavy-handed, a little convoluted, maybe.
Huh? Yeah.
Like
basically, the Punisher starts like surveilling everything they're doing, and he kind of like he goes up and like he knows that Howard Saint's wife goes to the movies every Tuesday, so he like. While she's in the movie, he like goes and like breaks into her car and like takes her car and makes phone calls like from that car to like Howard Saint's like number one goon, Quentin Glass. This is like his number one tough guy. His enforcer. You feel like he's setting up like for them to be like suspicious that they're like fooling around or something.
These were calls on cell phones. How did no one look at where the call was coming from? Like. When he would answer, when she would call, why don't you go, oh, this is Mrs. Saint, and then it's a weird voice. He didn't even look.
2004, maybe they still had some kind of shitty cell phones.
Maybe he star 69'd it or something.
Yeah, he had some way to jam it. He jammed it somehow, but it didn't jam the phone records because the phone records would be pivotal. And he like drives her car around and like, I think like parks it in front of a fire hydrant. Next to some hotel, gets her like a fucking like parking ticket at that hotel.
He also uses a fake fire hydrant so that no one else will park, so he can get the same spot again, so she won't notice
that her car's been gone. Yeah,
I feel like the fake fire hydrant is hilarious.
Yeah,
because it seems really heavy, but he's just carrying it around in a duffel bag. It never shows.
They put over it being kind of heavy. He like it makes like the sound when he's like putting it in place, like it makes that like. Heavy cement on heavy cement, like kind of sound.
But it never shows him like carrying it to it or from. I feel like he'd be like, like
he's jacked, bro. He's the fucking Punisher, Ian. Jeez.
But I mean,
he's not schlub. He's not everyday dick shit schlub like you and me.
But he seemed to have a little bit of trouble setting it up and putting it into place. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh, but he didn't have trouble with the bag, is what you're saying?
Hauling it around. Finding a duffel bag that it won't like rip through the bottom of.
Well, man, you're
military grade Kevlar. I guess.
You're really calling into question the tensile strength of the bags that the Punisher used, and I didn't even look at this movie at that angle. You were fucking way better at critiquing movies than me.
Well, that's why my review is slightly more negative.
Yeah, right.
Mostly hinged around that.
It was tensile strength. Fucking tensile strength.
If you just had a better bag.
So, Punisher, and like he calls Quentin Glass, from the car phone. It wasn't really a cell phone. It was a car phone. So maybe those are harder to trace than a cell phone. It was definitely a car phone.
Well,
old school car phone, like the phone that's like still
has a wire attached.
A wire from the center console. he also calls Quentin Glass and like says he has some pictures of him like making out with a dude because he does. He was doing deep surveillance, and it turns out Quentin Glass is like a sadistic like gay man. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And
there's not anything wrong with the gay part.
There's not anything wrong with the gay part. Sadistic, just weird. We're not
implying that all gay men are sadistic. Just this one in particular.
This one was, and just weird. That's where we draw the line.
He likes to beat guys up before he passionately makes out with them.
Yeah. I like the scene where like Punisher's like is like surveilling it. He like has that kind of like double take reaction when he like because he thinks he's like gonna like rough the guy up for like money or something probably. He like pushes him against the wall and just like starts like viciously making out with him. And Punisher's like, huh? Whatever, you know. I didn't see it coming. That's a fun little.
Hey, the '90s happened. If two guys want to viciously make out with each other, they get to.
You know,
they get to.
Whatevs. Punisher obviously, you know, he kind of faced it. You know, made that scrunched up. What? But I mean, he let him be, you know? He really let him be. So, he was really progressive.
Well, he involved him in his vicious plan.
He involved him in his murderous plot.
Which is, like, that's the main thing where the Punisher differs in this movie from any other movie, is that, like, you really see the more cerebral and calculating Punisher, whereas in both the Dolph Lundgren and Punisher Warzone, you might as well be Jason Voorhees. You know, he's just like fucking a walking slaughter machine.
Right.
Whereas this is like he thinks and he has plans.
Yeah. And I didn't mind it.
It's different.
Like, I kind of give that part shit. Like, where I'm like, oh, cerebral assassin. You know, that's a fucking ongoing wrestling joke. You know, that I like to bring back from 15 years ago. They called one wrestler a cerebral assassin, and I can't stop saying it. I think it's great. And I always joke on it. But I thought it was pretty cool the way he sets him up. We'll get to the end of we'll get to Cerebral Assassin Phase 2 later. This was just Phase 1. Like, because in the movie you don't see quite what he's getting at. You know where it's going, but like it plays out more later. So we enter the fucking Troubadour Assassin.
Oh wow, this guy.
I thought he was pretty cool. I like the Troubadour Assassin.
From Harry Heck and the Hecktones?
Harry Heck. You know, just like comes into the diner Punisher's eating at.
I love that scene, man.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. He seems like the first character that's really just straight out of a comic book. Like, right. I was like, this guy is definitely based. And I'm not familiar with the comics, but I knew I could tell this guy's from the comics.
Something I read, I think it was like the character is based on somebody from a comic book, but not the like singing to him.
No, he's just a goon. He was like kind of a faceless goon in the comics. That whole shit where he sits down and looks at that motherfucker and he's got that guitar and he just strums that son of a bitch and he's like, I feel like buddy.
Yeah.
This was for you.
Yeah.
I feel like they did that probably because the guy just favors Johnny Cash so much. Like, that looked like a young, more tatted up Johnny Cash.
No, I mean, I don't think they cast the role with that guy and then were like, you know what? Let's do the character this way because the way this guy looks. Well, I'm sure that was the vision they had for it.
That probably had a lot to do with that guy getting cast for that role, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, yes.
That song he plays is fucking badass.
I thought that song was really badass.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
The song was really cool.
It was probably the best song of the movie.
It was like, oh man, easily the best song of the movie. It was like he was basically singing to the Punisher about how, he's going to kill him, basically, through this
borrowed time.
Through this pretty cool, like, outlaw country song. And then just walks out, drives off from the diner. Punisher leaves, thinking, man, that was weird. Although, I like that, all of the roommates were there. Or not roommates, his neighbors.
Yeah.
They were, all there at that diner. I guess maybe it's, right next to their home or something.
Well, she obviously
works at it.
There.
She worked there.
And I could see
the other two guys.
The other two friends were probably regulars because she's the prettiest girl they're ever going to come across. So they're going to hang out with her.
I'm not saying it didn't make sense there. I just thought it was cool, funny that, it's like, hey, they're all three there. And they, kind of react funny to the guy singing in the song. There was some good comic relief there where they're, looking at each other like, what the fuck? Like you would if that happened, So what? Okay, that guy leaves. Punisher's driving. Dude, fucking rams his car into him. they have a little. It wasn't really drawn out fight with this guy.
I think the car chase was kind of the main part of that, which wasn't even really that drawn out.
Well, it's like Punisher drives up to a bridge that like it's one of those like raises up so boats can go underneath it. So he has to like stop, and then the guy like rams him. And it's a good thing Punisher like had modified his car into like a tank. He had like a car tank. It really came in handy on this particular instance. It's like what he built the car for.
Right.
It's basically exactly what this guy did. You know, he had those cool like raisable shields in the windows, so like the guy's guns couldn't fucking shoot him when he was in the car and stuff. And there was a funny line where he's like, fucking Punisher, you know, eventually like they have a little more of a chase, and he fucking makes him like flip his car over. Oh, it's because a little girl runs out in front of Punisher's car with a ball.
Of course.
Doesn't get much more cliche than that. I thought it was pretty funny. So he like, you know, swerves and like ends up hitting something and flipping. And he like rolls out of the fucking car all fucked up, and he's holding a knife. And the Mexican Johnny Cash is like, bring a knife to a gunfight. It's like the sweet projectile knife.
Yeah.
Right to his throat. That had some blood.
It was like
They gave you a little bit of blood.
one of the biggest blood splatters of the movie.
Of the movie, yeah. I think there's only like one or two more where it even shows blood. Could have been more blood, but it was nice and violent without the blood. They at least did the violence justice, I feel like. Punisher blows up more of the money shipments that Howard Saint's supposed to be laundering for the cartel guys.
Right. Almost kills his other son in the process. But doesn't quite.
Almost kills Saint's other son. Cartel even more mad at Howard Saint, but bringing the pressure down on him to fucking get this guy. The fucking Mexican troubadour dude failed. So, where do we go from here?
He tells him to call the Russian.
Get the Russian.
That's one of my favorite lines.
Get the Russian.
Give me the Russian.
I love it. The Russian. Like we didn't.
Who is big sexy Kevin Nash?
Ow!
Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack.
You might wind up in a body bag.
Well, Frank Castle almost wound up in a body bag at the hands of the Russian.
I will say he was huge. This guy was massive.
The Russian. This was like a badass fight. Yeah, this is probably the best scene in the movie.
I really enjoyed this part a lot. I remember enjoying it when I saw it the first time, and I definitely enjoyed it.
And the Russian, another, it's from that same Welcome Back Frank. They do him differently. In the comic books, he's like talks a lot and like says funny things while beating the shit out of the Punisher. So I can see why they changed that. That was okay with me that they changed that. They still had some funny things during the fight.
Oh yeah,
there was elements of comic relief during the fight, like he throws the fucking grenade and the fucking Russian like bats it back like a baseball, which is funny because wasn't Kevin Nash.
This is a basketball player.
That's what it was.
But there's some interesting behind the scenes things about this fight. One is they were working stiff, as we say in wrestling. They were knocking the shit out of each other, apparently. And actually, at one point, Thomas Jane accidentally actually stabbed Kevin Nash for real.
I wonder if it was the scene, if that knife going in was real. Because I read that he really got stabbed. And there's one scene in particular that comes to mind where they're in the scuffle. He grabs a knife and he stabs, and Kevin Nash goes into it. Leans into it. He just buries the knife in his chest, and he looks at him unfazed, grabs his hand, pulls the knife out, and turns it around, and makes him stab himself in the same spot.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where that happened, because if so, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. So that's one interesting thing. This is one of the scenes where the censors got involved. Of course, the fight's all over the place. They bust walls. They scare the neighbors. They fucking destroy everything in sight. But when he throws the boiling water in the Russian's face, in the original cut, they wanted blood coming out of his eyes, and they cut that. They wanted just apparently blood.
It was like they were going to use, what did you say they were going to use? It wasn't going to be water, was it? It was going to be cooking oil or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's we're going for a real soft R on this. We don't want a hard R. We want a soft R.
But you had a cool melty face, because the fight...
Oh, it was gross, yeah.
the fight eventually breaks into the apartment where the Punisher just got done having a nice dinner party with his neighbors.
That's right. They finally got him out of the house.
Then they got him over. They coaxed him over, saying that the boyfriend was back doing something to Rebecca Romaine, and the Punisher comes and he stayed for dinner. He even stayed for dessert. They even talked him into dessert. The fight busts into their apartment, and that's kind of another thing that was funny during the fight. Like they don't hear all the commotion going on because they're like blasting like loud records of like, classical
opera.
music. Yeah.
And
so,
Mr.
like,
Bumpo's fucking lip syncing opera and dancing.
Which Mr. Bumpo was, he's a stand-up comedian. John Pinetti. John Pinette. So, and yeah, they were like, I guess still had some boiling water. Even though they had just had dinner, they were like cleaning up from dinner, there was still some water boiling on the stove. So that was, thank God there was. Otherwise, the Russian would have killed every single one of them.
That is what turned the tide, really.
Yes, it was how he was able to... Yeah, he throws it in the Russian's face. It was a pretty sweet, melty face. Like, his face looked awesome and melted.
Oh, yeah.
And fucking Punisher, like, runs him through a wall and then, like, fucking down the fucking, like, stairs, and it breaks the Punisher... Or breaks the Russian's neck.
Right. It's
bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yeah. That's the best example of that.
Yeah.
And it shows, like, his arm even being, like, twisted behind his back. And it looks pretty gnarly. And you see a pretty big blood pool from his head.
And I think worth mentioning in the comic book, the way he takes down the Russian is a lot sweeter. He uses fat Mr. Bumpo and throws Mr. Bumpo on top of him and holds him down, because Mr. Bumpo's like comically fat. Like, he's like crazy fat in the comic books. And he cuts off the Russian's head.
Oh, that's right. He does.
And the comic books, like, for that story arc, it's not like the Saints. It's like just like some crime family.
The Nucci's.
The Nucci's, yeah. Ma Nucci. It's like a woman boss.
The Saints were kind of similarly based on them, but only very loosely.
Yeah. Which in the comic books, it was also Ma Nucci was the one he threw into the bear pit, and the bears mauled her and like ripped off her arms and legs.
And she kept coming back as like a stump lady.
Yeah. A mad stump lady.
One other note on the Russian. Kevin Nash also, just a fucking stupid wrestling related note, that Kevin Nash was famous for years for having this long flowing hair, and so this has to be one of the only like famous movie roles ever that there also was a hair versus hair match involving, where he and Jericho wrestled on I think it was a Raw for a hair versus hair, and he lost it to cut his hair to be the Russian. Useless, I know.
So, a few minutes after, so the Punisher's like really fucked up from the fight with the Russian.
Yeah.
The Punisher's like super fucked up. He like collapses. And like fucking more mob dudes show up. More Tampa mob shows up to, I guess, to like, okay, let's clean up, if the Punisher did survive a fight with the Russian, he's got to be fucked up enough that the regular goons can take him out. And they're right. But the fucking neighbors they kind of come up to bat, and they fucking, really stand up for the Punisher. They help hide him, and the poor Spacker Dave gets all of his face piercings ripped out by the sadistic Quentin Glass.
Right. But he doesn't say a word, and neither does
Mr. Bumpo.
Mr. Bumpo. They held their ground.
They held their ground, didn't give up their boy, the Punisher.
It's like, as ridiculous as those characters were, you can't help but respect the shit out of them after that. Like,
so like the goons leave. They leave one goon, just in case. Like, see if the Punisher shows up. I guess just stay here in case the joint. He's just kind of chilling out in the hallway. Punisher comes to, fucking takes that goon out with a sweet like big ass industrial like paper cutter.
like dislodges it from the base.
Yeah.
And uses it as like a machete and just chops
Right
it right in the middle of the forehead. Which that's another thing that got edited out. They were supposed to do a really
blood or something.
Really close zoom in of that, and that the MPAA said nope.
They were just neutered at every turn.
It's just weird to think of how much they got away with just 4 years later with the same R rating.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Punisher Warzone is just rated R.
But I guess the thing is this Punisher movie was the first R-rated movie since Blade, which came out in 1998. So that was a 6-year gap, And until then, there had been Marvel movies that had been pretty successful, but they were all like PG or PG-13, super family friendly. So they're thinking probably people are not going to know any better and still bring their kids to this. Is what I'm kind of assuming is how this logic came about.
They kind of marketed that movie to kids. If you remember, I mean, there was a lot of action figures. There was a lot of, like, I was married to my ex-wife at the time, and her kid was fucking, like, 8 years old or something like that, and was, like, super fucking into all the shit video games, toys, fucking, like, they really had a merchandising blitz on that movie. So, I mean, that may have something to do with it also. Even though they didn't spend no fucking money on it.
They wanted to keep it a soft R. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it didn't have a huge budget at all, actually.
It was $11 million.
Was it?
Yeah, I talked about that earlier. He wanted $64 million, and they trimmed him down.
I looked online. It said $33 million.
I saw 15. So
maybe it was 15, not 11. I think 33 was the amount that they made off of it.
No, the budget I read, and this is off of Box Office Mojo. That's the site I always check.
I got my info from IMDb.
They said the worldwide gross for it was $54 million.
Okay. And
that the budget was $33 million.
Well, it still came out in the black, so that's... Yeah. I think...
So, I don't know, maybe those numbers are wrong.
The number, I think the 33 comes in after, like, a lot of the post and the promotion of the movie, which a lot of times can cost as much as making the movie.
Yeah.
And I think the number that I'm saying is what the director was given to make the movie with. It's like, they're not talking to him about this is how much you're going to need to promote this movie, because that's the studio's job.
Right.
But the director only had X amount of dollars. So I think that's where our discrepancies are coming from.
Maybe. We'll look into it. Maybe we'll mention it, amend that on the next Punisher. We'll make sure we get to the bottom of that, of those skewed numbers. So Punisher's been fucked up by the Russians, so he knows that it's basically like game over time. Like, they've gone all out to kill him. It's time to stop stringing them along and just run the end of this cerebral assassin plan and just take out the whole lot of them. So he's gonna do that, and that's what they start in on the cool, like, as he's getting ready to go out and do it. He's kind of like getting geared up, and it starts that cool voiceover, which is from the War Journal, right?
Yes.
It's like word for fucking word from Punisher War Journal.
Yes.
And it kind of runs like fragments of it, starting at this point, and then it's like how they end the movie is with that voiceover, and it's really, really, really well done, really, really badass. I like he gets the end of this whole fucking like cerebral plot he's been running on the Saints. He stashes one of the wife's earrings at Quentin Glass's apartment. He's got him out of the apartment, like, again, running after shadows, saying he's got pictures of him making out with a guy or whatever. And, Saint somehow gets onto it with the help of Mickey, I guess. Mickey is the one that, again, this all comes down to Mickey. The Saints really should have just fucking killed Mickey to begin with.
Right. Things would have been a lot more difficult for the Punisher in the end if not for Mickey.
I mean, he would have just had to have busted in and just shot them all. He wouldn't have been able to run this super deep twist and turn plot.
Right.
So Saint shows up to Quentin Glass's house, finds the fucking diamond earring. At this point, he's got confirmation from Mickey that, like, both the wife and Quentin Glass were, like, in the same place when Punisher took the car that time.
It was a hotel.
It was at the hotel, yeah. And, like, there's the call. He asks for, like, phone records on her phone and, like, sees that her phone had called Quentin's phone.
Like, right before
going to the hotel, yeah. They get all that information. And, but Quentin couldn't see that the call was coming from her car.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So, fucking John Travolta, Howard Saint just goes, kills both of them.
Why you kill me? Why you kill me?
Why you kill me? Why you kill me?
Yeah.
That's what Quentin Glass says as he does.
Poor guy, he had no clue.
Neither one of them did.
That was, yeah, like...
That was a great fucking revenge,
It was
honestly.
a good revenge.
Yeah,
It really was a good revenge. Punisher fucking got his revenge. Yeah, the scene where he kills Quentin Glass is cool. He's like clearing out all the furniture from his fucking his living room and is like going on about how it was like a Greek custom. They'd call him out and clear the furniture. The problem is you have too much fucking furniture. And Quentin Glass the whole time just like, I have no idea what's going on. You know, he throws the knife down on the table. He's like, pick the knife up. Quentin Glass is like, I have no reason to pick the knife up. They never asked him to explain anything. You know, he's just like, well, fuck you. Picks up the knife and just starts stabbing him repeatedly. Why you
Well, I mean, you know, to saying it's all black and white, to saying he you know, he's got the phone records,
right.
He's got the parking ticket,
all the proof he needs.
He found the fucking earring. I mean, what's he gonna say that he's gonna believe anyway?
Okay.
Oh, I suck dicks, bro. It's cool.
So he's stabbed to death his right-hand man. Then on to the wife, who he takes, and you know, again, he's all super like mad and like giving her the speech, and she has no idea what's going on. Like, why are you talking like this? What? You know, you cheated on me with Quentin Glass, and she's like, but he was gay. And you'd say anything. Backhand slap.
Oh yeah.
You'd say anything to besmirch his name now. Takes her back to the ghetto where he found her, he says, and throws Mama not from the train, but right into the train.
It was a pretty high drop to begin with, so she was not going to be able to crawl out of the way of that train.
Yeah, I thought he just threw her to her death off of the overpass. She survives the drop, but it's right in the path of an oncoming train.
Yeah, that definitely kills the shit out of her.
Like a well-timed oncoming train. He really had to know the schedule, I guess, to know when that train was coming. So they're both dead. And he had some funny lines, like the son walks in, like Saint, like goes back to his house, is like calls up like all the assassins he knows, and is like, meet me, you know, come meet me. I've got a proposition for you. That conversation doesn't actually happen, but it's what he's doing. And the son's like, you know, where's Mom? I've been trying to call Mom. Where's Quentin? I've been trying to call Quentin. And he's like, where's Quentin? He's like, he's wrapped up in something.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had the body, like, wrapped up. Where's Mom? Mother's gone. She took the train.
Yeah.
Just, like, awesomely Travolta-ing it up. So, Punisher just fucking comes in commando style on the Saint compound. Oh, Saint is offering, what was it, like $50,000 to all these, like, 30 hitmen.
Yeah.
All again dressed in the same black suit as the hitmen that took out the family in the beginning.
Right.
So probably come from the same hitman agency, I'm thinking. You know, it's like $50,000 now, I guess, to all of them. So he was sparing no expense here.
But then the one who capped the Punisher got an extra $50,000 bonus.
Right.
So there's extra incentive for everyone to really get this motherfucker.
Right. And so, like, but it's not like the hunt is on now. This is just like, we're going to do this. Just know this is starting at some point. For now, let's celebrate. And while they're celebrating, the Punisher is on his way to kill them all. Which I thought was awesome.
And doesn't it get started with the champagne bomb?
So yeah, we'll get into the sweet. This is a sweet scene. Punisher taking out all the guys.
This is a scene I've kind of been waiting for the whole time.
Right, the Punisher just killing a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of mafia guys. Yeah, there's like he comes in through the bottom level after taking out the like perimeter guard, and it's in like this like multi-story. It's at like Howard Saint's like office that has like his car lots there. He has like a successful car lot. He's put over as having, like, I guess, multiple businesses with which he launders.
Runs a nightclub.
Saints and Sinners.
And then a used car.
We didn't even mention Saints and Sinners. Sweet name. So they're, like, at his, like, main, like, business compound, I guess. And Punisher, like, starts from bottom up. But it's not quite the same. We'll get to Warzone. Warzone kind of has the same kind of thing, but way more goons. He sends the landmine up with the fucking champagne through the dumbwaiter, which was an awesome way to get things going with the climactic fucking battle.
Oh yeah.
He does talk to him through the fucking like speaker, like send up that champagne, like coming right up. It's like that's obviously the Punisher.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. So Punisher starts taking them all out, and he gets pretty fucking shut up in the process, but he's got fucking
body armor.
He's got bulletproof vests. Yeah. Punisher don't come to fuck around.
this gun battle was pretty great. This, like I said, this is what I've been waiting for.
Go into detail on some stuff you thought was great about it.
Well, I mean, okay, one part I really liked a lot was when he meets up back with the long-haired guy, and they never really give this character a name, I don't think. I always just call him, he looks like the cool dad, like he probably buys his teenage kids, like, alcohol. He's like, hey, you think I'm cool, right? But that's just what he does on the weekends. During his day job, he's a guard for Saint. So they get into this knife fight, and the Punisher bends the guy's arm around behind his back, I guess, and I think breaks it in the process, and takes the knife and impales his hand up against his ass, is what I imagine is happening.
Yes.
And then pulls the knife out. And
second knife.
Oh, he has a second knife.
Yeah.
Has a second knife, stabs it up through the bottom of his jaw, up through into the top of his head, and his mouth is open. You can see the knife blade. That was my favorite kill of the whole movie.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was one of the glorious things. That was what they were saving all of their blood play for.
Right.
Was that scene right there.
And apparently
there wasn't a lot of blood. Yeah. But there was some blood.
Apparently there were other parts where, like, when he was shooting, like, he shot one guy in the head at point blank range. You were supposed to see blood splatter off behind it, and they had to cut that out. And then, like, he shot some guy in the chest with a shotgun that was supposed to spray the wall, and they had to cut that out. So,
yeah.
Like I said, real soft R on this movie.
It was. But at least it was R.
Yeah, at least
imagine how bad it could have been.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Imagine if it had been a fucking PG-13 Punisher movie.
Right. That'd be, like, almost as bad as, like, if they somehow thought it would be a good idea to do a PG-13 RoboCop.
So...
Sorry. Had to throw that jab in there.
So all these explosions going down in the place, everybody's kind of fucked up. Because the Punisher on his way in, definitely, like, throwing down explosives everywhere. You know, just rigging cars in his fucking car lot with explosives, rigging the fucking perimeter with explosives. So, like, guys trying to run out of the buildings, they're fucking getting blown up. So everybody in the building's fucked up. John Travolta finally makes it out of the building. I think after a guy cleared the way. Like, he was about to run out of a door. A guy goes out at first and gets blown up. So Saint's able to fucking, like, make it out. And he's, like, running through the fucking car lot, and fucking Punisher just stalking after him. And I like it, you know, just shoots him in the same spot that the Punisher got shot in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in the beginning, right through the middle of the chest.
Right at this part, I want to bring up, this is actually the second time this seemed to have happened in the movie, where it was almost like a Western-style draw scene, where, like, you know, they're both staring each other down, guns on the hip, getting ready to do this. It seemed like this had happened earlier, and I come to find out that the director really wanted this movie to have almost a Western vibe to it. So,
yeah.
So it kind of makes sense why they did that.
Well, I mean, you know, revenge flick.
Right.
Half the Westerns ever, if not way more than that, probably were revenge flicks.
And
we didn't even talk about the other cool Western draw that he had, which was in the first time he, like, goes and fucks up Saint's money laundering operation. He has the fucking, like, quick draw duel with two guys.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I think was the other scene where it's a standoff.
Yeah,
and it's a high noon at the OK Corral.
Yeah, that one, it was really awesome when he did it against the two guys. Like, that seems really awesome. And then yeah, he does, like, does Saint have a gun?
I think he does. I think
probably,
he does.
Yeah, sure. Punisher guns him down right in the middle of the chest. Again, another gunshot wound to the chest that doesn't immediately kill somebody. Saint's still alive, long enough for Punisher to come up and explain to him the true depths of his torture.
Right. Because the revenge wouldn't have been good if Saint had never known.
If Saint never knew that he killed his wife and his right hand man for nothing.
Right.
The Punisher had played him completely, and he latches him to the back of a car, gets that car rolling off.
We're leaving out one part. Before Punisher leaves the building, he had rigged up his other son.
I did forget about the other son.
With that bomb with the line attached to it.
I guess the other son had been, like, sitting in his office or whatever, and, like, something, like a heavy file cabinet, like, fell down and crushed, like, the left side of, like, his left arm was pinned.
Right.
So he, like, couldn't get to the gun that was there.
Yeah, so he puts this explosive in his hand, ties it around the string around something so that he has to hold it elevated at a certain point. He goes, it's a good exercise. Basically, no, eventually he's going to give out and it's going to blow him up. And he leaves, and then when he's in the final showdown with Saint's like, you killed my son. And then right as he says that, you hear the explosion.
Yeah. You can hear, like, a guy yell. You're like, ah!
Both your sons.
Yeah, both of them. And this is like Saint's, like, I'm pretty sure at that point laying there shot. Or is it before he shoots him? I can't remember if it's before he shoots him.
I think I feel like it was after, but I may be wrong.
Doesn't really matter. So Saint still surviving the fucking gunshot wound to the chest, dragging through the car lot as the timed explosives all are going off around him. And I thought this was really funny. Like, he's being dragged, and he's like, kind of like, not cool with being dragged. He's like, and then he...
Oh my God, why are you dragging me? Oh my God.
And then he catches on fire. And it was like really, really funny because like he just like goes more crazy. But then like another shot, they show like the next shot, like he's not on fire anymore, which was also kind of goofy. But he rides off into the exploding cars. They pan back. All the explosions are forming, of course. A skull in
The Punisher.
The Punisher skull. A really well artistically done Punisher skull in this explosion.
Like he knew just how to rig
Just
his
how
bomb.
how much explosive force he needed at what angles to make this sweet skull. And there, the Punisher's, he's done his thing. He's gotten his revenge. But the whole time, like, kind of like segmented through this, they've been running that fucking like war journal entry where he's basically it's like his letter of intent. He says, this is my letter of intent. And eventually it ends with like, this isn't justice.
This isn't vengeance.
This isn't vengeance.
This is punishment.
And there's him on the fucking bridge standing next to the fucking like black car, just looking out like almost superhero like, but it's fucking not a superhero. Obviously, it's fucking Punisher.
Right. And he did make things right with his neighbors. He
left them a bunch of money.
He hooked them up. So
he hooked them up with like
all was well.
$100,000 apiece.
I'm glad they didn't turn that into a romance too with Joan. I was worried. I was a little worried that was going to happen, but like it was like, that was like, you thirsty bitch. He just lost his wife 5 months ago, and you're already trying to come after him. Like
I did like we skipped this. Like when the Punisher first moves in, there's like a scene where he's like rigging up his car, and he's like doing like car work, and all the three neighbors are like watching from the second story window, and like she has a line. She's like, maybe he's an artist. Like, let me project myself on him. Maybe he's an artist. He doesn't. He's like revving up the fucking engine, like working on it. Looks nothing like an artist. And I think at that point they'd already heard him like torturing a guy. Hey, yeah, maybe he's an artist. Oh. So, okay, we've already admitted we had some skewed numbers. We're gonna get to the numbers here. The budget, we're not quite sure exactly what the budget is. Somewhere between 15 and 30 million.
Yeah.
Basically. I think your theory sounds right.
Overall,
he had 15 million, probably 10 to 15 million to shoot it, and another that much went into promoting it. That's what the budget was. It said Box Office Mojo is where I always go to get what movies gross.
Okay, I mean you're probably accurate.
And
worldwide
and its worldwide gross was 54 million. So this movie didn't flop. This movie fucking made money.
But if he had gotten the initial 64 that he'd asked for, it would have flopped. So the studios were right to cut him some.
Yeah.
They knew.
And I think for the money they had, it seems like they made a pretty good movie. And the movie came out. It was April 16th, 2004. So it's like kind of right before the big movies would be coming out.
Yeah.
So it's not really good timing for.
But it's an R-rated movie, so you're not going to put an R-rated as one of your big tent poles,
Right. I'm just saying, like, a better time for it might have been maybe a little sooner than that, or like after all the blockbuster movies, kind of in like that fall before you get into like the winter award season.
This is a surprisingly huge hit on DVD.
Yeah, they sold 2 million copies in the first 5 days. I read.
I bought it as soon as it came out on DVD. So
you were one of those 2 million?
I was one of those 2 million.
Yeah, me too.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, other comic book movies that came out in 2004, I thought that might be an interesting thing to bring up, because it wasn't a who's of good comic book movies, in my opinion, other than Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 was the big one that year. It didn't come out on the first weekend of May, like they all seem to now. It was like in like July or something.
Oh.
I tried to look up like what big movie came out in May that year. It didn't look like they had a big comic book movie. Hellboy and Catwoman, which I think Hellboy sucked, and everybody knows Catwoman sucked.
Yeah.
Blade Trinity was another one that came out that year. Blade Trinity was all right.
That makes sense, because I remember seeing, doing a double feature with my friend Todd, who's on your Get Your Pulse show.
Yes.
We saw that. We did a comic book double feature that day and saw Spider-Man 2 and Blade Trinity on the same day. It was pretty cool. Pretty good day.
So Blade Trinity got ballsy, and they put it out around the same time as Spider-Man 2.
I think it had been out, and it was already like it was in one of like the back theaters on its way to move to the cheap theaters.
Right.
But Spider-Man 2 was still fresh out, so we saw Spider-Man 2 and then walked down the hall and watched Blade Trinity.
And I know that like they wanted originally Punisher Warzone to be basically a sequel to this movie,
right?
With Thomas Jane on board,
right.
all like
same director,
and then it was like they got into some it was like a script disputes, creative differences, and they eventually dropped out, and a whole different group of people got brought in, which I'm kind of glad that happened.
Oh yeah,
because Punisher Warzone, which again we're going to talk about plenty.
It'll have its own episode,
but like. It's a completely different thing than like what they set up here.
Right.
Like what they set up with this movie, I feel like fits perfectly in like the Marvel universe that they have in movies. I know that Thomas Jane to this day still is interested in coming back and being the Punisher.
He just did, I believe it's called Dirty Laundry. The 2012 Comic-Con.
Yeah.
A fan film, and it's about
I've seen it.
Like 5 minutes long. It's got Ron Perlman in it. And it's fucking awesome, and it's his return to playing the Punisher. It's supposed to be an unofficial sequel to this movie.
Maybe we could put a link up or something with that.
Yes, I will.
I haven't seen that, so it'd be interesting.
You owe yourself. Yes, definitely go watch that. It's just a little short, awesome. But it's really badass.
I would like to throw in. We didn't mention it. We were at this part of the story. I talked about it earlier before we started recording. I am a huge fan of cheesy one-liners. I think cheesy one-liners are great, and this one had a really good one in it. When he's about to leave the island, and he's just got done, after he says his goodbye to the guy that helped heal him, and he throws him the stick. Mm-hmm. The guy says something along the lines of "Go with God." He looks at him and goes, "God's gonna sit this one out."
Yeah, it was a good line.
It was so cheesy. That made me smile.
Yeah, because the movie didn't try overly hard to be campy.
Right.
This movie didn't. So, like, when things came across as hokey, you knew it was just plain hokey. Like, so that kind of detracted a little bit from it, but not enough for it to ruin the movie for me at all. I thought it was a fucking really good movie. So let's say, what do we think? Because on IMDb, it's rated a 6.4, which I think for IMDb, that's probably doing all right for that movie. Like, I could see it getting hated on more potentially than that.
I'd probably give it a 5.5, maybe a flat 6.
Man. And you gave.
Yeah, I liked the original Punisher.
I think you're going to have to admit that. You may have liked it more. 8.5 is retarded.
Well, like I said, I admitted that was because of my lowered expectation from the get-go, and it was just from the overwhelming of, oh man, I'm really enjoying this movie. Whereas this one, I expected to really enjoy it. It just felt like really slow. The action didn't feel like it was quite there for me. The acting, was kind of not where I wanted it to be. I guess I wasn't broken enough. I don't know. Just it's too many little things made me kind of like go, well, this wasn't as good as I'd want it to be. Mm-hmm. And just from seeing the other one so recently, I wanted more of that.
Yeah.
So I'll revert my old score to maybe like a 7.3
for Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren, and this one I'll be generous and give it a flat 6.
Oh, okay. That's Ian being generous. Dan?
At least a 7.5, you know? Like
that was about your same rating for the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
Yeah, well, I'd probably rank this one a little higher, man, than even maybe like a 7.7. Okay. Like, just a little bit.
Every decimal point counts, man.
Like, I really love this movie. It just has a charm about it. It has, I really like Tom Jane as the Punisher. I think that he's a good choice for the character, and it was a good origin story. It deviates in parts from the comics and then has a lot of parts that are straight from the comics. So, it's got kind of the best of both worlds there. And like I said, it's one of my favorite, especially the early run of Marvel movies, before they sort of developed the Marvel universe. They had the X-Men and the other movies in the late 90s, and it's one of my favorites.
Right. I thought, I looked at it, and I kind of think of it as, the pre-Nolan era of comic book movies.
Right.
Even though he's a DC guy, I feel like he kind of started raising that bar.
Sure.
And so it's like, this was kind of like before that. Even though still some pretty crap, what I think are dated and kind of crappy comic movies came out around the same time as the Nolan movies. Like the Fantastic Four movies, I think are pretty awful. But that's neither here nor there now. I would rate this Punisher, I would say 7.5 would work for me on this one. Because I'd rated the first Punisher, the original Punisher, like a 6.5 to a 7. And I definitely think this one's better. It's hard for me to give it like over an 8 because that gets into like just like really excellent, super excellent movies. I think this movie was like setting up for a super excellent movie, is what I think.
Yeah, I think so. Never got there.
Would have loved to have seen a sequel to this.
I think that's probably my main problem with it was that it really was start to finish an origin story.
Yeah.
And I wanted more of a movie. I wanted more of what the sequel probably was going to be.
Right. And like I think Warzone you can look at as kind of a sort of
a spiritual sequel.
I mean, it could be like, other than in the intro when they show his exact comic origin of them being in Central Park.
Right.
And
Yes.
shit.
You have to kind of ignore
if you just kind of ignore that and just go with where the actual movie starts in Warzone, it's not far fetched to think that years later he's no longer Punisher with a heart because he was so close to everything happening then. Now he's been murdering people for years, so he's all shot out.
So
we'll get to that on Warzone.
And we'll say hopefully at some point in the future, they fucking kind of come to an agreement on another Punisher movie with Thomas Jane. I think that'd be awesome. I'd love to see it.
I mean, they've got the rights back, and he's campaigning hard for it and shown that he can still do it. So, and people still support him and would go see it.
And I think that they could like do it kind of halfway between the Punisher movie he did and Warzone, kind of meet in the middle there with that, and find like the right audience for it, and have it. It probably won't make a lot of money. It'll probably never be a super successful franchise, but I think they could do it with it not losing money, and I think that they like to give the fans stuff. I think enough that they could do something like that.
The short was a big hit, and if they incorporate a Punisher into like their overall universe, I could see Tom Jane being that guy.
Yeah, he's the level of actor that they seem to go after for that kind of part.
Yeah.
So. All right, well, next week we get down to, I'm excited for it, Punisher Warzone. The goriest of the Punishers. The grittiest of the Punishers. So that's going to be next time. And we're going to have Dan back with us. What you got, Ian?
I predict I'll have much fewer complaints.
Most definitely.
I predict I'll watch it.
You better fucking watch this one.
Yeah, I haven't. I've seen the Tom Jane one since I've seen Warzone, so I have to watch it.
Okay. You got to get that fresh. All right, cool. So, till next time, we'll see you.